Recently, the US visa denial rate has been very high. That's why I'm making this video for you. That's why you need to stay to the end, because I'm going to tell you how to prepare for your visa interview to help you get your visa issued. If your US visa was denied, it's very frustration. You have to pay high fees and you have to apply for the US visa again. It's very frustration, right? Some people are coming for important meetings and conference. You must always make sure that you do things right so that you don't go through the stress of denial. Let's get right into the video. Whatever it is, please know that the Trump administration's immigration policies, enforcement, and deportation have influence now about the way the embassy and the interview work. While the policy governing U.S. visa interview have not overly changed, there are some issues you must be aware, and I'm going to share with you all the things you must take note, all the things we have observed from people who have gone for interview. You must take note of the things we have observed from people who have gone for interview, people who have been rejected, and people who have got the US visa issue. I'm telling all the experience based on what I have seen from my clients who have successfully got the US visa issue. Now, the first thing you must know as to prepare for your visa interview is that there is increased scrutiny for US visa interview. They will ask you questions that will clearly assess your intent. Visa officers are paying more attention to details. They are going to assess your intention to visit or go to US to study. We have seen recently people who go for interview and don't show clear purpose of travel as being rejected. Visa officers don't have time. Previously, some of the things that visa officers would have been okay to give visas or issue visas, they are denied. People with the slightest chance that they get to know that you don't have clear purpose and you don't want to relocate, so make sure you are preparing for visa interview. Now you have a very clear purpose because the Trump administration want to limit the number of entry. They are trying to deport people in the same way. You must know that they also try to make sure they will limit the number of people to enter the United States. They will try to limit the number of people who try to enter the United States, trying to avoid people who are trying to overstay their visas. So make sure if you are preparing for your visa interview, you have a clear purpose of travel, clear reason for traveling if you are very young. If you don't have a good job, if you have a girlfriend you met online, and if you're trying to visit your girlfriend, that's going to be difficult because the visa officer will think that you won't come back. So make sure that you have a clear purpose of travel because there is high level of scrutiny these days at the visa interview about your intentions and about your financial variabilities. Also expect stricter enforcement on the visa rules. As I said, visa officers are now lenient these days. They are trying to limit the number of people who are trying to enter the US, so they are trying to make sure that you meet with all the visa requirements. The most important thing is to demonstrate your ties to your home country. For example, you need to, if you are applying for a student visa, you need to emphasize, you need to prove to the visa officer that you have strong home ties to home country. For example, your father, your parents operate their own business. They have the financial capacity to support your studies in the US. You need also to demonstrate to the visa officer that your intention to study in the US is legitimate. Like, for example, I have provided training to quite a number of students who are not good at English, and they get conditional offer to US. In this way, they need to demonstrate to the visa officer that they are going to learn language first, and their true intention is to pursue bachelor degree, not only just studying language first, not merely study language. As if you just want to learn language in the US, the visa officer think it don't worthwhile to go to US to learn language. So you must demonstrate your intention is to get a degree. Besides, you need to demonstrate the visa officer that you have the financial capacity to support yourself in the US. And then there is a very good technique to help my students get a visa. I got my MBA degree in the United States. When at class, we were taught by the teacher that in future we will be working as business professionals in various fields. But whatever we do, we must think in terms of optimizing the business profit and minimize the cost. We need to think the opportunity cost. When you graduate, after you graduate with a US degree, you have the opportunity to work in the US, and you also have the opportunity to come back to work in China. You need to prove to the US visa officer that your opportunity to work in China is much better than you work in the US. Can you understand me? Say for example, if you stay in US and work for a small company, you can only earn some US dollars for let's say for $5,000 to $6,000 a month. But you also have the opportunity to work back in China for large companies such as Baidu and Tencent. And you may also have the opportunity to climb up your ladder. You may become a senior level management position in future. So in this way, you can persuade the US visa officer that your career opportunity in China is much better than your career opportunity in the US. Then he will be convinced that you will return to China.